Okay, we're gonna try this a different way. So the one thing you have to know about me is that I am incredibly persistent. So we've been trying to go live for like the last 20 minutes, and I really want to answer not only your questions that you guys gave me on the community page, but I also want to answer a question that keeps coming up in the comments throughout all my videos. And that is really, which fats should you be eating if you want to stay in ketosis? And I'm sure, hopefully you all know by now that there's a term out there called dirty ketosis. And the idea is that a lot of you or a lot of people are excited about what the ketogenic diet can do for them. And they're excited about what fasting can do for them, but what they're not realizing is that when you do eat, you still need to eat really clean food. So what I want to do on this video is I want to talk to you about how I categorize food in my brain, like how I think about it for my own health, how I think about it for my patients, and when I'm making recommendations. Because honestly, the name of the game here is we want to keep you healthy. We want to stop putting the toxic food into our systems. So when you are looking at fats, and fats have been greatly missed in our diet for decades now, but as we step back into looking at what fats we want to eat, we want to be really smart about it. So I categorize fats into 3 different types, okay? First type are what I consider like the best fats you can eat to keep you in ketosis. Now, one of the questions, I have a lot of the questions that you guys had asked. One of the questions that I got asked was the difference between ketosis and autophagy. And stay tuned, because I'm gonna, and fats and how those 3 fit in there. So I am gonna answer that in a moment, but I wanna start off with what are the absolute best fats that you should be looking at? And that's where we're over here looking at, and I know you guys, because we had to sort of adapt our video camera here for YouTube's needs today. But here are some of my favorites. So things like, and I'm gonna start by explaining my favorite, and then I'll tell you why. So things like ghee, avocado oil, avocados, olive oil, and olives. I know that you guys are seeing this. I think you're seeing this backwards because we had to make some technical changes. No, you're seeing it forwards. Great. So olives are great. And then I really want to bring to your attention some that we don't talk enough about, which are flax seeds and chia seeds. So this is my front row right here. So these are my go-to fats. So olives, avocados are very, very common in our household. We go through them really fast. And avocado oil. These are probably my favorite for getting into ketosis. And you know, you can eat them all day long. They are incredible for an incredible good fat. So olive oil, let's talk about olive oil for a second. Same thing with avocado oil. You always want to make sure that they're not rancid. So this is an organic olive oil that we got in Italy. I will tell you that regularly, if I get an olive oil, I will smell it to make sure that it's not rancid. If it's been sitting in your in your pantry for a long time, there's a good chance that it can go rancid in there. So you want a high quality organic olive oil. Olives are like your best friend. If you are not eating olives on a regular basis, in the fast mimicking diet, Walter Longo has olives in there. Olives we often have a little bowl of it here in our house, so our family can munch on it quite easily. So as far as oils go to cook with, we cook with avocado oil because you can heat it up at a high temperature. As far as salad dressing goes, I make a lot of salads in our house, and we will cook, or I'll do olive oil for salad dressings. So, and then avocados, eat them all day long. So those are really on the top of my list, along with the regular olives. Okay, also on the top of my list is ghee. So ghee is it is made from cows. We have some. We just ordered some that were made from goats. So it is, and it's grass-fed. Why I like ghee is it's one of the few dairy products that have very little protein in them. So, and I'm going to explain protein and fat here in a second. All of these, so olives, avocado, they have very low protein, which means they will not stimulate the mTOR pathway. They will not pull you, technically, they will not pull you out of autophagy. Protein is where you start to get in trouble with dampening down or shutting down autophagy. So let me back up one step. I think it's worth saying at this point that there's ketosis and there's autophagy, and they're different. Okay, ketosis is a sign that your body's burning fat. Autophagy is a sign that your body's detoxifying. Now, there's a lot of overlap. So when you start to use oils like olive oil, and you start to use oils like you start eating olives and eating avocados, you're able to do both. You can do both, where you're getting in autophagy and you're getting in ketosis, and you're able to really merge those two amazing concepts together. When you start to venture into some of these other oils, and you may kick yourself out of autophagy. So I'll explain that in a moment. So my favorite top oils are olive, avocado, ghee, and avocados themselves. I also want to point out two other real favorite ones I have here, which are flax seeds and chia seeds. And the reason that they're my favorites is not only are they high in omega-3, high in healthy omega-6, but they're prebiotics, and so they will feed your good bacteria in your body, and they are phytoestrogens, especially flax seeds. So those of you that are post-menopausal, a lot of you guys need to start to raise your good estrogen. And you can do that by doing more flax seeds, more chia seeds, and getting your seeds in general up, so we can gently bring up some of those estrogens. So stay tuned for more information on that, because I think this is a really important idea. And I know a lot of you guys have asked me about post-menopausal situations. How do you apply keto? So stay tuned. I'll be talking more about that in upcoming videos here on YouTube. Okay, so those are my favorite. Now, let's go to the middle ones, okay? So here we sit in this middle category, and we've got nuts. So one of the reasons that nuts are not in my favorite category is because they have more protein in them. So nuts are fabulous for ketosis, great for ketosis, not so great. You gotta be a lot more cautious when you're looking at them to stimulate autophagy, okay? So if all you want to do is get into ketosis and work on burning fat, then you can merge the second group with the first group that I just told you. If that's all you're looking for, but if you're still trying to get that autophagy and you don't want to get too much protein if you're trying to stimulate autophagy, so you have to be really careful with this next group. So nuts. Walnut butter, raw, is always my favorite. In any nut that you do, you'll see that this is raw and organic. This is by Artisana. This is one of my favorite. This is by Whole Foods, and everything is always organic for us. That is a top priority. There's some great science that I talked about last week when we did ketobiotic fasting. Around the outer shell of almonds feeding your good bacteria that help with regulating blood sugar. So I love when I can kind of eat one food and stack different concepts together that improve my health. So any kind of almonds, seeds are great. We like a lot of macadamia nuts in our house. So nuts in general are fabulous for ketosis. You need them in moderation if you're trying to stimulate autophagy, okay? I hope that makes sense. So now where does dairy fit in? So as far as dairy goes, raw dairy is the best because you're gonna get the most amount of enzymes, you're gonna get the most amount of probiotics in there. So raw is definitely the best, but again, we're back at there's protein in here. So you've gotta be really careful and keep it low so that you don't pull yourself out of an autophagy state, okay? So we do a lot of cheeses and a lot of raw cream, The other night we made for a dessert, we took organic strawberries and we cut them up. And then I just whipped raw cream and put the whipped raw cream on top of the strawberries, served them to my family. Nobody knew there wasn't sugar in it or any sweetener. It was amazing. So raw cream is great. Raw cheese is great. But again, I'm going to just remind you that it's got protein in it. So it may dampen down that autophagy state. Okay. So most favorite, second most favorite. And then I want to talk, I'm going to move these aside here for a moment. And I want to talk about this guy right here, coconut oil, because this gets so many questions. People ask this all the time. So coconut oil in general is, for the majority of people, is going to be very healthy in a ketogenic diet. Now, for some of you, what's going to happen is you're going to go into a ketogenic diet and your cholesterol is going to go up. If that is you, we have seen this in my clinic happen over and over and over again. Doesn't happen to everybody. In fact, it doesn't happen to the majority of people, but it does happen to a select few. If that happens to you, the first thing I want you to think about is your liver, that there may be some congestion between your gallbladder and your liver and your small intestine and that common bile duct. So there may be some congestion in there that needs to be dealt with. Go see the videos I've done on coffee enemas. I'm a big fan of them for solving that problem. Second thing, you may have really bad dysbiosis in your gut that needs to be dealt with. I need like one more hand here, but if this is my gallbladder, my liver, and this is my gallbladder, there's a duct that gets shared called the common bile duct that is squeezing toxins into your small intestine. Well, in that small intestine you could be deficient in good bacteria. So tests like our gut zoomer, we can zone in right away and I can tell you, do you have the right bacteria to break down cholesterol? Because some of you are missing that bacteria. And if it's missing, then you can start to work on eating foods that will rebuild those bacteria. So if you go on the keto diet and your doctor says, oh my gosh, your cholesterol went through the roof, don't abandon the keto diet. I would tell you you need to look at your liver and you need to look at those small intestines, your small intestines. So go back and look at that. I also would recommend that there are so many good fats that there's really no need to like mega dose on coconut oil. So with those people in my clinic, I'll actually work on liver, work on their gut, and then I'll switch them over to MCT oil. So it tends to bring that cholesterol down. So this to me, I know it's gotten a bad rap. And for so many of you, you could just put scoops of this in smoothies and you're going to be fine. And in your coffee, you're going to be totally fine. And some of you, you're going to need to really focus on those other organs and switch to MCT oil. Okay, so I wanted to point that out since this video is on good fats. The other thing I want to point out is that we've switched to some of products like these in our household. So thank you, Primal Kitchen. You have done an amazing job of creating the salad dressings and avocado oil, mayonnaise that, those of us who are looking for oils that are not inflammatory, that fit well into a ketogenic diet, these will do really well. So we love them. This is what we've switched completely over to in my household. Now I'm going to warn you that they're not pure, right? This is still salad dressing. So there are other things in here that may pull you out of autophagy. But at least they're not causing your cells to inflame. At least they're not adding to insulin resistance because they're not inflaming the outer membrane of your cells. So I really, again, I wanted to leave one video here on my YouTube channel that is all about good fats. And I just felt like I need to bring this to your attention. And hopefully some of you guys are using this because it's awesome stuff. The honey mustard, I've gotten my 16-year-old son to now just gobble up my salads if I put a little bit of this on there. So that's kind of cool. Okay, so different levels of fats. We've got our best fats, which again are avocados, They are the avocado oil, the olives, and then they're the chia seeds, and they are the flax seeds. I would even put a little bit of hemp seeds in those, but these have a little more protein. Second tier of oils are the ones that are still great for the ketogenic diet, not so great for if you're trying to stay in autophagy. It's all your nuts and your seeds and your dairies. And then the warning one is coconut oil. If your cholesterol is going up, switch to MCT oil. Okay? So I hope that helps. I really, it's important to me, those of you that are watching these videos that I'm putting out every week, really important that you're doing keto right, really important to me that you're taking this information and you're moving your health forward. If you get into what I call dirty keto, where you're just compressing your eating window, which is great. I like the compression of your eating window, but then you're eating foods that have bad oils in them, then you're not moving the needle forward with your health. You may lose weight, but you're not improving your health. And to me, that's why we should do the ketogenic diet. Some of those oils, and I actually, here in my house, I don't have any to even show you, but some of those oils are like canola oil, vegetable oil, safflower oil, sunflower oil, soybean oil. Those are the harmful inflammatory oils that you just always want to stay away from. Okay, so that's oils. And I'll take questions that you guys are asking here in a moment. But I wanted to, if you're not familiar with my community page, we are now posting regularly on there, trying to show you guys some of the things I'm doing in my own home, foods that I'm eating. We also, I consider this channel your channel. I want it to be what you need. So we're asking you questions, and we've got some polls over there. So this morning, I asked what some people need to know, and let me just kind of point out some of them that we really should discuss here. This was interesting. Christina, you mentioned this. You asked about what's a gentle way to do fasting and keto when life is really stressful. So it's so interesting to me because I sit with a lot of people. I always say I'm like in the trenches with people, helping people move the needle forward with their health. So I'm doing nutritional consults all the time. And my first question always that I ask people is, tell me what's currently going on in your life. So if your life is uber stressful, this is not the time to start to dive into these 3 to 5 day water fasts. You may find that even more difficult. So I want to start off by honoring you, Christina, and just thank you for asking that question, because I think it's really important that we acknowledge whenever we're approaching anything with our health, what are we trying to do and what's our current lifestyle like? Okay, to answer your question, to me, the easy through stress ketobiotic lifestyle is 13 to 15 hours of fasting, and you may or may not count macros. You might just decide to keep all the grains out of your diet and really look at vegetables and meat and good fats as the majority of the foods that you're eating. So I find some people love counting macros, and some people they don't want the hassle of it. And if life is stressful, I just think that's the best routine. There's great research showing that women who have had breast cancer, that their reoccurrence of breast cancer went down by 70% with as little as 13 to 15 hours of fasting. So I know that a lot of you guys love these long fasts, and that's great. Like, I love them too. And when life is stressful, I would say just stay within 13 to 15 hours and enjoy a ketobiotic lifestyle without really stressing over the macros. So I hope that helps. Somebody asked about, Mari asked about keto and menopause. And yeah, let me just kind of give you an overview. And I'm actually launching a whole new course in my academy. So those of you that want to dive into keto and hormones at a deeper level, join me over here in the academy, because as women, we have to be doing keto differently. And it's just, it breaks my heart when I hear people's hair falling out, or they're not sleeping, or anxiety goes up. And it really depends on if you're perimenopause, if you're in your 20s, or if you're postmenopause, and where you are in your cycle. So let me I want to make sure I'm clear on that. So postmenopausal, estrogen and progesterone are doing this as the years are going on. So when we go into a postmenopausal state, our estrogen and our progesterone is at the lowest. Now, we're not cycling, so there's no, you don't have to necessarily follow a cycle like the perimenopause woman. Oh my gosh, let me speak to you for a second. You need, if you're spotting, if you're irregular, like you got to track your cycle, and you need to follow the cycle that depending on where you are in your cycle, sometimes you need to be eating more hormone building foods. Sometimes you need to be fasting more. So that's for the peri. But for the postmenopausal woman, you can block fast whenever you want. You can fast whenever you want. But I also want you to realize that you need to be bringing some hormone building foods in. And you need to be bringing in some foods that raise progesterone and raise estrogen. And many of those foods are not keto. So now flax seeds are great, and they're keto, and they'll work really well. But for some of you, you need to get into the squashes and the beans, and you need to dried apricots. I know this is a keto YouTube channel, but dried apricots are fabulous for raising estrogen. So this is why I like the cycling, the in and out. If you're postmenopausal, block fast whenever you want. Typically, I recommend that you follow like a 5-1-1 protocol, where 5 days a week you're doing keto with whatever fast you choose. 1 day a week you're doing ketobiotic with a longer fast. You're pushing your fast, and then 1 day a week you're feasting on hormone foods. So stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, because I'm about to do a whole series on what do those hormone building foods look like. So stay tuned. I know that's a common question. Okay, that was my long answer to that. Jenny, you asked about every time you fast, do a 3-day to 5-day water fast, to lose weight, you actually gain weight. Okay, so for those of you that are gaining weight when you're fasting, it's actually more simple than you may realize. You have to remember that fasting is detoxing. So there are 2 ways to detox. There's self-detox. That's what fasting and autophagy do. And there's assisted detox. These are things like what we do in our heavy metal detox protocols. So if you're gaining weight with self-detoxing, which is these longer fasts, what's happening is that your lymphatic pathways, your detox pathways are not open. It could be congestion in the liver. It could be congestion in your gut. It could be your lymph. So really cool tricks, like make sure you're sweating during those fasts. Get in an infrared sauna. If you live local to me, I'm in the San Francisco Bay Area. Our clinic now has infrared saunas. You can call there and get into our office. If you're wherever you are in the world, go look for an infrared sauna. A great thing to do when you're on a 3 to 5 day water fast. You might need to move so you get circulation going. You might need to look at, like, are you a good methylator? I know somebody on here asked about the MTHFR gene. And all the MTHFR gene means is that you're not good at methylating. Your cells don't detoxify well. Well, there are supplements you can take for that. My personal favorite is something called Moors, and you can find it. We'll put it in the notes here. You can find it on Revelation Health. So you just got to open up those pathways, and there's a lot of little tricks you can do. Coffee enemas during your 3 to 5 day water fast. That's another good one. So just try that the next time, but don't give up the fasting. Okay. Is it okay to fast when my period starts? Yes, that's the best time to fast, because estrogen and progesterone are now done, and you can fast the best. The first 2 weeks of your cycle is the best time to fast. Okay. Somebody asked about A1C. They've been doing fasting for keto and fasting for 2 months. This was Tahara, and for 2 months, and your A1C is going up. So stick with it. Remember that too, that it's the cycling, it's the in and out. I know that's hard to try to understand the cycling, but it is the in and out that will really have an impact for you. So the in and out of fasting and feasting and keto and hormone building, it's that in and out that really forces the body to adapt. Okay, somebody asked about the terrible pain in the right side when they fast. Was it gallbladder or appendicitis? Well, it's hard to say, but I will tell you that we do see a lot of pain show up on these longer block fasts. And remember that a lot of times that's stem cells working to repair the body. So a fever, let's use a fever as an example. A fever is your body's way of burning out an infection. It's really helpful so that that infection doesn't kill you. Does it feel good? Nope, doesn't feel, at least when I get a fever, it doesn't feel good. It's the same thing when we fast, is sometimes we don't feel good. And that's where you need to use your judgment, is what's your line of not feeling good. So, work with somebody who can coach you through that moment, or you have to decide, this pain is so bad, I'm going to break the fast. So we see a lot of people in our resetter group that just are so exuberant to fast. And I just, I applaud you guys, but there is a point that you have to ask yourself, okay, I'm so uncomfortable right now. Is it worth it to keep going? And so, but the more you push yourself in these, the more you fast, I should say, the more the body adapts. Okay. Somebody asked about, Esther asked, the keto sticks show ketones, but does that mean she's fat adapted? So here's my interpretation of fat adaptation. You're fat adapted when you can go without food. Like you're okay, you're not dying for food. I think that's the most important. The other sign of being fat adapted, this just happened to us, to my husband and I. We were in Italy and we ate everything that we could. We just wanted to experience everything, the culture. So we ate pasta, we ate gelato, we ate focaccia, we drank wine. These are not typical habits that we do here at home. But we really wanted to experience everything. So we went, we experienced it, and then we came home and we went boom, right back into longer fasts. We went back into the ketobiotic diet and we got real strict the minute we came home. And within a day or two, we were like back to feeling like our normal selves. That would be fat adapted, where you could go off course in vacation and then you could hop back in and you'd click back in. That's how you know you're fat adapted. So, okay, let me see if there's anything else. Somebody says they want to keep weight off after that they've lost in a fast. Just keep working these principles, you guys. I can't emphasize enough that if you go into a fast and you do really well with it, the goal is not to just fast the rest of your life. The goal is to really just, have some feast days, have some ketobiotic days, protein load one day, hormone load one day, and then boom, go back into another fast. So again, cycling really makes a difference. So, okay, I hope that helps. Let me know if this information, again, this is your channel. I want to customize these videos for you. So just keep us in communication as to what you want to hear. I will be going live every Thursday, and I started with this topic because I asked my team, what does everybody want to know? And you all were asking questions about fats and what the good fats are. So here you go. I brought it to you. So questions.
Just one big question. First of all, we're not going to answer specific questions about medications or anything like that.
Yeah, if you guys, let me kind of give you a little idea of how I'm putting all this information out there. My YouTube, my Instagram, Facebook, resetters, like I'm trying to just introduce you to these big concepts, and they're cool concepts, right? I mean, they're so fun to practice. But if you're playing with them and you need more attention and you need just a little more customization, join me over in my academy. That's where we're doing calls. You can interact with me one-on-one. I'm getting to know people. I've got courses in there, and we can customize this for you a little bit better. And if you really know you need like one-on-one customization, just call my office and we'll make sure you get a consult with me. So, so if you're looking for more detail about questions to your health, those are the other two platforms.
Question about someone wants to have their cycle start back up. They just stopped and they want to get pregnant, so they're looking to start back up. And it was recommended they join maybe the Women's Reset or the Academy.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So I think I understand the question right. You want to get a regular cycle. You've been pregnant, and your cycle isn't regular yet. So. So here's what I would tell you. You definitely need to be eating according to your cycle. And I'm going to give you two big pieces of information here. One is you can do keto and fasting, and you should do them day 1 to about for you, because you're trying to get pregnant, I'm going to say about day 12. Okay? Go to town on the ketobiotic fasting. From day 12 to about day 15, you need estrogen to ovulate. So at that point, you're going to need to do more estrogen-rich foods. If it was me, I would be doing, where are my flax seeds? I would be getting flax oil from your local market, Whole Foods Organic, and I'd be doing scoops of flaxseed oil. I would be eating flax seeds. I would be doing estrogen-building foods. Strawberries are really good. Dried apricots are really good. I would be really focusing on phytoestrogens that you can raise during that time, okay? After day 15, now you can fast a little bit. You can go back to keto, so you could go day 16 and 17. You could do a little more keto, and then all the way till about day 20, 21, then you need to do progesterone-building foods. And those are squashes, rice, beans, potatoes. I've done a bunch of videos on it here. So again, if it was me trying to get pregnant, I wanted to have a really healthy pregnancy, I would be looking at where my cycle is. I would be tracking your cycle. So the minute you get a cycle, you want to get on that Clue app, is the one I use, and start tracking it. So I hope that wasn't too complicated, but that's the kind of stuff we're learning. You can come join me in the academy and we'll customize that for you. But that kind of gives you a big picture there.
Any recommendations for enzymes or foods for lowering LDL or cholesterol?
Yeah, food-wise. So again, we're back at your microbiome. So foods that I love for improving the microbiome are hemp seeds and chia seeds. These get sprinkled on everything, all my foods. So flax seeds would be good as well. You might want to get a gut zoomer test and just know if you have the right good bacteria in there to break down cholesterol. And then again, if you're doing the keto diet and your cholesterol is going up, look at coffee enemas. Miraculous. I've told this story before, that I had a patient whose doctor was really worried about her cholesterol going up, total and LDL. And so we had her doing coffee enemas. We had her doing something I call the bile push. We had her feeding her good bacteria, really went all at it. We got her off coconut oil, got her on MCT oil for 2 weeks. She went back and retested, and all of her numbers were normal. So those are my tricks.
Any cancers that keto doesn't play well with?
Ooh, that's a good question. Cancers that keto doesn't play well with. Not that I have experienced or researched. So the patients that I've worked with that have cancer have just had incredible results. And we've done everything from leukemia to breast to endometriosis, endometrial cancers, things like that. So no, but again, if I had cancer, I would be working with somebody trying to make sure that I am doing it right. And fasting is fabulous for cancer. So really those, one of the big keys that we do with our clients is really implement a 3-day water fast on a regular basis. So really good. And then that's out of Walter Longo's research.
Let's see. Last question. getting migraines.
Okay. Migraines. The question's migraines.
Midway through my period, I get hungry and have migraines. Normally, I do OMAD.
Okay.
Are they missing nutrients? You want to talk a little bit about some of the migraine?
I don't know what time of life you are. So if you're perimenopausal, your hormones are like already. So migraines, it could be the breakdown of estrogen. It could be low estrogen. So, honestly, if it was happening on a regular basis, I would run a Dutch test. If you haven't run a Dutch test, that is my favorite test to tell hormones. So we can actually really pinpoint that for you. Mid-cycle, again, look at these estrogen building foods. I would just Google what foods feed estrogen. And I would be, if it's mid-cycle, you're probably not having enough estrogen. That would be my guess without knowing your complete health history. So.
Okay, and then last question, Hashimotos or hypothyroid?
Yep, Hashimotos, hypothyroid.
Yeah, what do you recommend?
Yeah, so Hashimotos is like all autoimmune conditions that you got to look at the gut. So you got to balance the gut, and then you got to ask yourself, why is the body attacking itself? And why is the thyroid being attacked? So we find that usually there's a toxicity issue and there's a gut issue. So keto works great, fasting works great for Hashimotos. If that, and the ketobiotic is even better than just keto because you're adding in all those biotic foods. If that is not working for you, then you've got to really go and look at your toxic load. What toxins can be in there? I'd look at heavy metals. I'd look at mold. Some of my Hashimoto patients have been living in a moldy home. I would look at plastics and glyphosate. Are you eating all organic? Those kind of things you're going to have to really dial in. Like some people, when I work with them, I go, you don't need to worry so much about your toxic load. And other people, I'm like, you have to be obsessed on your toxic load. So everybody's different based off of what they're trying to do. So, okay. So yeah, so if you're just joining me now, we tried to come to you a couple times on my phone, and I don't know what was going on, but we had some technical difficulties. So I hope this was helpful. I will be coming every Thursday to you all live answering your questions. So make sure you keep an eye out on the community page so you can see, like, if I have a specific question that I want to know from you or things that you guys want to know, it'll be there. It is, I don't know when people will be watching this after it's live. Today is 4th of July in America, and I got to tell you that there is nothing, this is the day we celebrate freedom, and there is no better freedom than living in a body you love, living in a body that is feeling great. So, there's so many distractions in life, and I just think the most important thing we can do is focus on our health, because when our health is great, we have the freedom to be amazing in our job. We have the freedom to be able to, have incredible relationships. We feel good about ourselves, and everything around us will grow. But we have got this backwards. We have a tendency to be like, oh, I'll deal with health later. It's not that important for me. And then when we go to try to put it back together again, it's very complicated. So, from the bottom of my heart on this day of freedom, please make your health a priority. And I know I'm preaching to the choir because you guys are here listening to my video, and I know so many of you are applying this. So I just want, from the bottom of my heart, just so grateful to be on this journey with you. Let me know what you need. Anything you need, we'll make sure we get it to you. And if you want to dive deeper into this, if you want more interaction with me, come on into my Reset Academy. I'd love to get to know you. So with that, happy 4th of July and have a beautiful day.
Let's see, how do we end it here?
Yeah, I would just click out of YouTube.